and I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday.
On October 18th, 2014, experienced hiker Kenny Veach posted a video searching for a mysterious cave he named the M Cave. A month later, on November 10th, Kenny decided to go back in search of the cave and ventured out into the desolate Mojave Desert. After not hearing back from Kenny for 3 days, his girlfriend called the police. Even though an extensive search was conducted, no traces of Kenny were ever found. At 47, Kenny Veach was an experienced hiker, having grown up on the outskirts of Las Vegas. Kenny wasn't a stranger to the barren wastelands outside his borders. Although experienced, Kenny took risks and loved to hike off-trail, traversing vast distances alone, without navigational aids like maps, GPS, or compasses, as he said they were for amateurs. Kenny had a love for extreme hiking, going on hikes in the sweltering heat of the Mojave Desert, with minimal food or water, going hours between sips. Kenny would also eat things he found in the desert. He especially liked pine nuts and would also handle rattlesnakes and admire other animals found in the desert. It seems like the only time he was truly happy was when he was on his hikes, ignoring the reality of the unforgiving landscape. To pursue his passion full-time, 14 months before his disappearance, Kenny had left his job of 17 years as a service technician for a coffee company. After leaving his job, Kenny had tried to pivot himself as an inventor and had made several videos trying to pitch his inventions to shows like Shark Tank and Quirky. Even though he had sent a handful of videos, he had spent a good portion of his remaining capital on these inventions, but it didn't work out. This led to the series of unfortunate events to come. At 48,000 square miles, the Mojave Desert, easily the driest and hottest place in North America, is desolate and unforgiving, with the terrain full of the skeletal remains of those who foolishly failed to take it seriously. It is home to a few US Air Force bases, notably the Nellis Air Force Base just north of Vegas, and the infamous Area 51 further up north. A large part of the landscape is off limits to civilians, as it hosts the site of the Nellis Air Force Base Test and Training Range. In an Area 51 related video, a user by the name of Snakebit McGee stated how he found a mysterious cave in the Mojave Desert. He quickly garnered skeptics who egged him on, telling him to go back and record the cave as proof. On October 18th, 2014, Kenny, under the name of Snakebit McGee, posted a 21-minute long video titled M Cave Hike. In the video, standing near a mining shaft, Kenny starts by describing a hike he was on when he came across a deep cave with a large entrance that looked like an uppercase M. When he approached the cave, he felt his body start to vibrate, with the vibrations getting stronger and stronger the closer he got. He decided not to enter the cave and wait until he brought his firearm with him on this hike. Before heading out on the hike, he pans the camera into the mine, zooming it into the worn-down abandoned shaft, noting how deep the mine is. This mine would later give investigators a clue, but also more questions than answers. The video ends with Kenny being unable to find the cave. He then posted the video on YouTube, and while some comments showed their fascination with Kenny's story, his skeptics grew bolder, saying that the fact he was unable to find the cave means he made the whole thing up. Kenny got defensive and vowed to go back in search of the cave. Before his last hike, he also posted a comment under the video and stated he planned to do a 3-day hike, crossing the same canyon in the previous video where he said he found the cave. He also dared any of his skeptics to join him on this hike. One comment, though, stated that Kenny shouldn't go back in search of the cave, because if he did find it and entered, he wouldn't come back out. That comment has since been deleted. On the morning of November 10th, Kenny left to go on his 3-day hike. At 6 in the morning, Kenny drove his truck to his usual spot and by all accounts departed in search of the cave. Being a prolific hiker, Kenny planned a long and brutal multi-day hike, which he stated before has become a normal part of his life. Before leaving outside of cell phone range, Kenny texted his girlfriend at the time, Sharon, informing her of his hike. saying he would be back in around 3 days and that he would text her when he got home. As soon as the third day came, Sharon patiently waited for the text from Kenny, but that text never came. She decided to contact local authorities. Only a few hours after she got off the phone with the authorities, the search for Kenny Veach officially began. Police arrived at the desolate canyon at the base of the mountain range and were quickly able to find Kenny's truck. They then proceeded to comb the area for clues, but didn't find anything. They also noted that there was no signs of a struggle, which would have suggested foul play. After coming up empty, the police contacted Red Rock Search and Rescue, who specializes in finding and rescuing people in the desert, who, thanks to information by police, started their focus by trying to find the M-shaped cave. They ended up going to the mine that Kenny had featured in his video. Around the entrance of the mine, they found his phone and some change. Thinking that Kenny's body could be in the mine, the group was tempted to go down and check, but considering the poor condition of the mine, they instead contracted a specialized group who went down. They came back up empty-handed. They continued their search of the surrounding areas of the canyon, but because there are over 250,000 abandoned mines in Nevada, some of which litter the desert, the search proved fruitless. Besides the phone and change, no other traces of Kenny were found. Back in Kenny's home, police scoured the residence for any clues about Kenny. Kenny's house was littered with the things from the desert. Kenny would bring stuff that most would consider junk back home with him to decorate the house. Police ended up finding Kenny's video camera in his house, meaning he went back to record the cave without it. He did apparently bring his point and shoot camera, as it was missing from his home, along with his tent, sleeping bag, and firearm. Investigators began searching his computer, and upon searching his browser history, investigators found some disturbing things that would change the course of the investigation. Sharon had told investigators that months before his disappearance, Kenny had been dealing with debilitating depression, which had gotten worse because of the lack of income and the possibility of losing his house. She posted a comment saying as his money decreased, he became more and more depressed. He really did not look for another job. Around the time he posted the original video trying to find the M cave, Kenny and Sharon had a long conversation together, where she could see that Kenny had spiraled into a deep depression. At that point, Kenny confided and opened to Sharon on his thoughts about harming himself, which he stated he had for most of his life. He also told her, "If I decide to do it, you will be okay, because you are good at the law of allowing." Sharon also revealed that Kenny told her if he actually did do it, it wouldn't be in his home and that no one would ever find him. Sharon also suspected that Kenny had these tendencies because his father had done the same thing, leaving a 20-year-old Kenny to stumble on the body. This was confirmed in his search history. Police noted that Kenny had searched for terms related to his depression and had also written the phrase "help me" over 50 times, maybe as a cry for help, but it doesn't appear that he got the help he was so desperately looking for. The night before Kenny went on the hike, Sharon said that they were together and he didn't bring up the cave with her, but they did talk about his depression and the choices he needed to make in his life. Although Sharon told investigators that even in his delicate state of mind, she believed Kenny about the cave, saying, "I think it was something he found on one of his recent hikes before he disappeared." Sharon believed Kenny had been nothing but truthful with her during their relationship, so she had no reasons to doubt his story. She said, "We went to a movie together the night before his last hike, and he did not bring up the cave then either." The movie they saw was Birdman. At the time, due to the almost mythical description of the cave, more than a few conspiracies started to pop up on YouTube about what really happened to Kenny Veach. One story is that Kenny found the cave, entered, and never came back out. On June 6, 2021, a YouTube channel named Exploring Abandoned Mines and Unusual Places posted a video titled, "I Found the M Cave of Kenny Veach." He starts the video by mentioning that he just turned on the Nevada State Highway 375 East, also known as the Extraterrestrial Highway, and then proceeds to make his way down the highway, noting the Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51. The video then transitions to a shot of what seems to be the M cave Kenny had found. He proceeds to enter the cave, but it seems to be shallower and wider than the cave Kenny had described. He also noted that there seems to be stacked rocks near the entrance of the cave, as if the cave was in the process of being sealed off. He also mentioned that he came to know about the location of the cave due to a random message he received from a person in the military, simply named Don, who also took an interest in the story and was searching for the cave, but couldn't continue his search due to an accident. No other details were provided. Inside the cave, he found some pieces of wood, along with a dirt-covered and faded sign that read like something out of a sci-fi movie. In a follow-up 2-minute video almost a year later, a new sign can be seen to have been planted at the entrance to the cave, with a warning that read, "Danger, restricted area." Another conspiracy is that Kenny is still alive and faked his own death due to the growing financial issues he was facing. This theory is supported by one of Kenny's sisters-in-law, Susan Veach. There is video footage of someone that she says looks to be Kenny, breaking into the business of his other sister-in-law and still alive. The video shows someone looking for something very specific, and the entire break-in lasted only 42 seconds, with the perp only taking an iPad that was near the window he entered. Kenny's sister-in-law is convinced it's Kenny, while his daughter and brother do not. Due to it being a high-traffic business, fingerprints weren't taken, and police said that the claim that it was Kenny in the video couldn't be confirmed. In the end, due to the overwhelming evidence in the house, police concluded that Kenny died somewhere in the desert, that he parked his car on the morning of November 10th and started his hike with the intention of never coming back. To this day, no other piece of evidence of Kenny in the Mojave Desert has ever been found. Thank you for watching.